I love George M. Cohan, and I was really, really looking forward to George M. And I'm pleased to say it did not disappoint. This is a 1970 film version of the Broadway musical. It's directed by Martin Charnin and Walter C. Miller. And the book is by Michael Stewart, John Pascal, and Francine Pascal. And we have a cast including Joel Grey, Bernadette Peters, and various others. The performances are brilliant. The narrative is great. The music is understandably absolutely fantastic. And I would love to see this on stage. I'd absolutely love this. George M. Cohan was a composer. He wrote some of the most amazing songs. Personal favourites do appear in this, and I'll talk about those in a moment. And this is basically detailing his life and how he became the successful Broadway, I was going to say star. I feel like that word doesn't capture quite the value that he brought and the legacy that he left. I feel like he is a Broadway legend. And I absolutely love him. And it's all about his life as a young boy and then how he came to be the successful talent and incredible name on Broadway. And I don't want to say too much more about it, just in case you're not aware of the impact that he had, or indeed what his journey was like. I don't want to spoil too much of his biography, but I think they told his story, in my opinion, very, very well. I was aware of his story before. I've seen at least one film about him. James Cagney as George M. Cohan is just an absolute joy. He plays Cohan in the 1942 film Yankee Doodle Dandy, which is just brilliant. And I think that was my introduction to George M. Cohan. And Cagney was absolutely amazing. But also, I feel like Joel Grey gave a really great performance here as George M. Cohan as well. I thought he was just absolutely brilliant, really brought the personality to life. Not that I'm an expert on George M. Cohan by any stretch, but for me, the role worked really well. It was exactly the kind of character I was expecting. We have some wonderful, amazing choreography. The choreography in this is fantastic. We have some really great camera work that made it feel like it was worthwhile. And I say that because, in general, I'm not a fan of watching film versions, by which I mean musicals that have been filmed on stage. Because often, not always, but often they'll just stick a camera there and we'll just be looking at the stage. We might get a couple of different angles, but generally speaking, often it doesn't really feel worthwhile. It feels like they're just broadcasting the play, whereas this one still felt like we were watching a stage show, but it felt like they utilized the camera angles a little bit more effectively. So it maybe feeling like a little bit of a different experience, but I still felt like we were watching a stage show. Do I wish they'd completely turned it into just a regular film? I would have been interested in that. I very much would have liked to have seen that. But it also doesn't just feel like somebody's stuck a camera at the front of the stage and we're just watching it being streamed or anything. So I was quite happy with what ultimately was delivered. The camera work is very good. The performances are amazing. The choreography is fantastic. The soundtrack, the music, obviously incredible. Two personal favourites include Over There and Yankee Doodle Dandy, both of which are just absolutely incredible. And honestly, I got goosebumps. Particularly when those songs were playing, I got goosebumps. I loved it. I would love to see George M. on stage. I think it would be wonderful. I don't know if it's been on stage in a while. In fact, I will check now. So according to Wikipedia, and this is just me having a quick look on Wikipedia, the production ran in 1968, and then there was the NBC TV adaptation in 1970, as we're discussing here. So just based purely on Wikipedia, this hasn't been on stage since 1968, at least not on Broadway. And that's surprising. It had quite a few awards. It won the Outer Critics Circle Awards for Outstanding Musical and Outstanding Performance for Joel Grey. Bernadette Peters got an honorary win for the Theatre World Awards. Best Choreography Tony Awards, which is fantastic. It won that. It also got a nomination for Best Leading Actor in a Musical for Joel Grey. So it was clearly reasonably successful. I don't know if maybe it didn't bring in the money, but I would love to see this on stage. So if anybody is ever aware of this being on stage, please feel free to let me know. But I loved the 1970 version. I thought it was an absolute joy. If you're brand new to George M. Cohan, I would recommend the James Cagney film first. It's just more comprehensive. I think it's a much more detailed story. But that being said, if you want to watch this, absolutely give it a go. And I have just become aware of the 2006 off-Broadway musical George M. Cohan Tonight, which I have never heard of, and now I'm going to go and explore that and see what's happening with that. So, George M., delightful film, would love to see it on stage. Needless to say, I'm very, very, very happy to recommend it.